Seeing the set for Perth by night, the Refactuta is in the trench. He's already had a few arrivals, going through the normal security procedures. And, well, they've apparently had someone directed towards him who, well, if that's curious to see this individual, but is on guard regards to him because he hasn't met the individual before. But, well, we'll see for the young kindred who has just joined the court of the sect. Going down the corridor he was directed towards, he'll see that there are one or two security cameras. And, well, as he goes along, he's going to see there's different security. It's not particularly lavish area, but eventually he'll come to a rather hefty looking door. And how to put it, there is some area with cover was obviously probably some very thick, more unlikely bulletproof glass. Slides back and sees an eyes man of very dark eyes, just peering at him for a moment before it opens, and then the man steps out. Says, "You're the one we were expecting, I take it."
Marcus is looking a bit more prim than he normally would be, despite him really wearing just a fancy style jogging suit, carrying a duffel bag that appears to be laden with several bits of things. He says, the individual in front of him says, "I think I'm in the right place."
Well, you have the right look about you. Firstly, and he'll close the door behind him, the rules before you enter. Rule 0, obey the traditions. Rule 1, no violence. Rule 2, without the house's permission, no discipline may be used by visitors except Mask of 1,000 Faces for their usual known faces only. Breaches grant a trivial boon to the house or a minor boon based on severity. Future breaches of this rule escalate the level of boon being granted for that instance by the repeat offender. 3. Abusive behavior will not be tolerated to staff or visitors. Abusive behavior, if warned of and not ceased, may entitle the aggrieved party to a drink paid for by the abuser in addition to a trivial boon to both the abused and the house by way of apology. If this abuse leads to frenzy, the abusive party may be liable for all such penalties if the house deems appropriate. After trivial boon has been demanded, if the abusive party does not desist, then the size of the boon will be increased to minor, which will be highlighted to them. This can be escalated as high as the house deems appropriate. 4. Weapons are to be locked away in care of the house during visits. 5. In the event of frenzy or breach of the above rules, the party will be billed for repairs, the value of any blood needed to be healed by the aggrieved parties, plus 20%. Plus the value of 2 pints for all those involved in restraining you. In addition, the house will be granted a minor boon and $1,000 for minor breaches, or a major boon for more serious events decided by the house. 6. If you do not agree to these terms, do not enter or attend the trench. In closing, this is a place to relax and unwind. This is our domain and our house. Do not fuck with us, and we will not fuck with you. 7. Members of the lines may earn exempt from the rules regarding disciplines and weapons while operating as staff to keep the order of the day in good faith. If the house deems that they have used this rule, they will be penalised as seen fit by the house. Obviously, the sheriff and the prince are exempt from these as well. Rule 8, no pets.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's doing this, Rafat's taking out a metal detector wand. He's going over to use.
The bag is going to go beep 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 beep. His clothes are going to go beep 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 beep.
There's a big metal box where he'll kind of gesture for you to put things in. As he's going through the whole thing, like it's almost as if he's it's almost as if he's doing this by rote.
You see him take out keys, money clip, another set of keys, pass cards, various bits of cleaning materials that are metal sharpening tools, a couple of practice epées, a real epée.
These all go into the keys you can keep, but it's all going in the box.
The face mask, the other equipment, it all goes in the box. And he looks at you and he says, "So for all these rules, I only have 3 questions."
Of course.
Number 1, to whom collects for the house?
My name is Rafat Duta. I set up the establishment on behalf of the coterie. I am defined as the house. Although I may be the keeper of the Elysium, the trench is more of a unofficial setup. It does not follow the rules of Elysium. However, we have built-in penalties. Very few people have ever willingly decided to breach them.
That answered my second question. And my third question is a 2-parter. The first part of it is, can I get those rules in writing for future reference? I'm still new to this whole thing.
Well, of course. Rafat will take from what I'll write them up inside.
And the second part of it is, does the house demand a tribute of the vitae for entrance upon first time?
Rafat just kind of was like, well, he just kind of leans in. You can see there's like a camera nearby. He kind of leans in conspiratorially. Seeing as I'm a member of Clan Tremere, if I started demanding everyone to start hand over vitae, I wouldn't have many customers. He kind of smiles. That is not necessary.
Fair enough. May I just leave what is in my bag, put the stuff back in the bag, and put it in the box for you?
Oh, yeah,
so it's all in one place.
You can put it in there, and the box will be locked. That'll be left outside in the room where there's a lock in it. But the key to the actual box, you're given that key.
Oh, well, thank you. He'll start folding the stuff back prim and proper and putting it exactly where it was. And you see it's like almost got set places it's supposed to be. He puts it back in, and he waits for Rafat to allow him inside.
Rafat will open the door once more. And, of course, you've been explained the 3 routes to get in. That's so people can't obviously ambush you easily, but at the same time you're not going to get in trouble with the coterie. He'll open the door. Sorry for all the rules, but best to have them explained. And
Trust me, my teacher has more.
So now, gentlemen, may I introduce? And he gestures first towards Gregor. So, this is Victor Gregor Creed, Ancilla of Clan Gangrel, loyal member of the Camarilla, and Mr. Matt Donovan, Neonate, recognised, strong new addition, member of Clan Ventrue.
Ah, one of my own blood.
Good evening.
You'll see him give a small bow. Barely want to acknowledge it, but a small bow to you.
And I would introduce you to... What the hell is your character's name again?
I am Marcus Yeager.
And this is Marcus Yeager, a member of Clan Ventrue who has recently joined the Camarilla, as I understand it.
You would be correct. Under advisement, as I said.
He'll gesture. You can see the areas. There's a few tables and chairs. There is a counter. There's a TV. And what is this? There are 2 other doors other than the really heavy door you came through in the room. Mm-hmm. But he'll just kind of gestures like, please take a seat. I course, will offer you a refreshments. However, many of your clan often decline.
Well, I can always test the waters to see whether or not it's to my taste.
Let's see. Well, I don't suppose you want to give me any details. Otherwise, I do have a selection.
I will give you this detail. Male.
Male. Okay. I'm actually going to give it a roll.
It's got a chance.
Yeah, it's specific. Given the actual how he's getting most of his blood, it's not actually that unlikely. We'll see.
Okay.
No, he gives you a free drink, but it just.
I'm going to taste it ever so slightly to see if it's worth a damn, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're a Ventrue. You can still drink it, but it's not
Sustainable.
It's just, well, you don't get any sustenance from it. You can still drink to that thing.
Then will you allow me to? Will someone do me a favor and roll me 7 dice to basically show that I'm perfectly happy with this? There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. Thank you, Kevin.
7 dice.
It's etiquette, by the way, that I'm rolling. I'm being polite.
You're getting 1 success. This one just does not agree with you. Rafat, on the other hand, will be so it doesn't know how much. Rafat, on the other hand, will be rolling. I'm not going to bother using all specs, but I do have.
Nope.
So no, Rafat thinks you like it. That's great.
Mind if I roll? Being another
Go first.
Let's check.
When you enter the room, the Jason's character enters the room, like the Gregor will take his hat from his head and put it to his heart, and nod his head, and then put his hat back to his head.
Was that 1 success for you, Marco?
Yeah, I'm not gonna use my disciplines for this, so yeah, 1 success.
Yay. Yay for putting on a show.
Yeah.
Good. But they're similar vintages. You'll actually see it's like $100 for like a blood point, but he's got just basically normal vitae. He's got alcoholic, as in the person with alcohol, and then he's got 1 or 2 others that have narcotics in them, very light end stuff.
I may wish to place an order with you at some time. Should my, what do you call them? They called them bags where I was. If I wish to place an order for a certain amount of a certain kind, could I set that up with you?
Of course, and if somebody's buying in bulk, often we do a discount. I'm sure we could make sure to refine down to what individuals of your liking. Rafat will actually take out and he'll be writing down the rules for you. But then the second page, he'll look at the bottle he took that blood from and he'll write it down, thinking that's one of the ones you're okay with.
No, what he'll do is he'll ask for a piece of paper and something to write with.
Yep.
And as he's writing down, he'll say, I trust this will be able to be done very well with you being my host while I'm here.
Of course.
And he does place emphasis on that word.
Host, yes.
And he's going to slip you a note that says, male college students, brown hair. That's what he passes you.
Rafat will actually take it, and he'll put it in his pocket and say, well, gentlemen, let's check something in the back. And he goes and reads it in the back before he takes out a small lighter and he burns it. I have enough courage to not have to roll. Just about.
Marcus is basically just going to be observing everything, taking note of the people that are in here. You know, what you look like, what the place looks like, things of that nature.
And Rafat will come back after a little while. The furniture's it's very much, it's not lavish. It's very plain. It's very pragmatic. The TV and the Wi-Fi are, sorry, the TV and the Hi-Fi are two of the very few luxuries outside of the PT. However, you would have seen when you're coming in, there's a room where there may indeed be some people inside there with a vending machine. Seems to be fresh coat of paint inside there. That one's got like a vending machine with actual food in it, and the individuals inside, well, they didn't get to come in here, whoever they were. That's the go room.
Very nice.
Oh. Please, may I call you Marcus?
Being that you are my host, yes.
Marcus, please tell us a bit more about you.
Well, without going into too much, I am a local instructor of various people of well repute. I instruct them in the ways of the mind and of the tongue and of the body. I have offered all of these services to the prince. Other than that, I am a student of one you may know. And yeah, that's about the extent without any other information being offered from you, Rafat, or any of you.
Well, I would suggest there are a few individuals in the city. The sheriff, Sheriff Salvador, is.
Oh yes,
Well, it depends if
I
you
met
want to
him.
find a sparring
met
partner.
him.
Yeah, excellent.
Yes. He quite snuck up on me.
Good at his job, I'm afraid.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I have the feeling he may call upon me to be an additional sword for him at some point.
We all pitch into court isn't. Well, we're not exactly pressing the numbers locally.
Oh.
Occasionally we have issues.
If so required, I can offer my services as a teacher as well to the rest of the city, for a price, of course.
And there's always a price.
Of course.
I'm sure there'll be those who take you up on your choices. I myself find myself more occupied on the kind side, as well as the more esoteric things. Not as skilled with the blade as some of the others, but I do my part.
Do you need instruction?
Not at this time. My skills suffice on the occasions when we go out to fight the enemies.
Fair enough.
And as I'm sure an educated as yourself would know, there are many types of weapons to be wielded.
Yes.
I have seen Rafat fighting quite well, actually.
Oh, that's good. That is very good. And how do you fight, Mr. Creed? Do you fight with your words? With your mind?
Well, I fight with my mind, fight with my words, and as all Gangos do, I fight with my claws. Then I need them.
Yes. Quite the gift. Quite the gift.
It is.
What about you, Mr. Donovan?
Well, I'd fight when there's a need for it. Let's just leave it at that. Well, you wouldn't happen to have a meeting with Primich and Halliwell, have you?
AFK.
Well,
He's a good businessman. You see, like his phone is removed.
um, one moment, I have some business. And he'll reach for his phone and simply text something, and put the phone back into his pocket. Well, let me simply write up my phone number for you if you feel the need to talk with a clan member. He'll go over to Rafat. Mind if I borrow the pen?
Of course. Rafat will take out from under the counter a fresh pen for you. It's nothing fancy. Just one thing that's left here, so time to time, and he'll give you a fresh notepad as well.
Donovan will simply write up his number and pass it over to Marcus. And as he finally finishes up, a call comes in, and he sighs, looking slightly disappointed as another phone call. Excuse me.
Of course.
And he
I
goes.
shall not take it as a slight, since you were required to do something else. And he smiles.
And he goes to the side to speak business with his subordinates.
Your Primogen, Sebastian Halliwell, is a member of the Lion's Mane. You have not met him yet. He, much like Donovan there, they do help out, but their own skill sets lie them on. When it comes to combat, there is always a logistical need. That is not to downplay those who take on a more hands-on approach, but well, on one particular occasion, Primogen Halliwell was able to acquire, at extremely short notice, a helicopter and a pilot who would not mind going off his stated course and dropping a few heavily armed individuals off at his own expense.
That's indeed useful, Rafat. Don't take me wrong. I have no problem jumping into the fray. However, my skills are not in the fray primarily. I am a teacher.
It's good. As long as we all contribute, build up the course, strengthen each other.
Yes. I suppose. Could I ask perhaps a bit of information, Rafat?
You can ask. And the information is very valuable. Boons might be required.
Well, I will gladly offer you a trivial boon in return for the information that I ask, unless it requires more.
We'll see what the question is. No boons might be required. It depends.
How about did our dear prince and his court come to appropriate this area?
Ah. These kind of looks at he's like, there's so few of us left who are actually here, even though it hasn't even been a full year yet. Though it is drawing very close, many of us have had other duties which we're called away to. Some left straight away looking for the next war. The city a year ago was in the hands of the Anarchs. They were manipulating events. But the Camarilla planned And so what's the linesman is although the roster has changed, the last of the war coteries that arrived in the city. We had to put an end to their numbers. Their Baron was frustrating when they last at some point towards the end, to put it well, towards the end, the Anarchs began to call on more sinister allies, Sabat, and well, there's a few tales. We took casualties then, but let's see, the Baron, James Jimmy Blaney. He was a member of he was of the blood of Clan Ventrue. His power base had been eroded, obviously before the troops showed up. The Cameral had been working through other means to soften up the target, but it was at that time Ancilla and later Reckless Elder for the Act, Laurent de la Vossière of Clan Tremere, who found him, staked him, dragging him before the Archon. He was put on trial for his crimes then and there, and executed before the court. At that point, that was the final breaking point. The Anarchs head off. As for Sheriff Salvador, well, it was a member of his own blood who he had to fight in one of his best battles. It was their Reeve, a position similar in some ways to a sheriff. They had skill in certain or unusual disciplines and had augmented their ghouls. And, well, the battle there was particularly bloody. Sheriff Salvador at the time had quite a large number of ghouls when we came into the city. By the end of the event, he was gone. You may hear some of the names of the coteries who aren't around anymore. The Trundling Wombats, they went against the sweeper Michelle Holland. They made sure she didn't leave the city. For the linesman, you might know of Coyotes. They're the Anarchs who get people in and out of places.
The extent of my knowledge of the people in this city, if I may interrupt you momentarily, my host,
Of course.
is, simply put, the sheriff, the prince, and my teacher, Abdul Fattah.
What you asked for, how we came to be. A long tale. But
I understand.
Do not worry, we'll dwell on this part for too long. But we routed out this individual going through the sewers. Sissana said many have left. We briefly had a prince, Laurent de la Vossière, was the first new princes. However, he was called to action alongside other members of my clan to deal with enemies to camera and other places. Then the Primitive Council elected Leon Harris, who at that point was the Primogen from Clan Malkavian. It seems so long ago now, even though it was a short amount of time.
It seems as though it has weighed on you.
Oh, these things always do. With new arrivals, members of my own clan, they keep busy. The one most likely we were to come across is, well, goes by Fixit. He kind of smiles at Victor. She is in a coterie called Grasshoppers, alongside Dr. Doolittle and Dr. Claw, as they like to go by often enough, 2 members of Clan Gangrel.
Well, that is indeed interesting. Is the city keeping a record of this for future reference?
Well, many of us have been here all along, and there are some records, accounts. Arkham Marquand has left a little while back, but he will be no doubt return to check in on us, make sure everything's going well. Court's still relatively new. We have a few ancilla, very few no elders currently. But let's see, other coteries there are the Forgotten, which includes the Seneschal, Hannibal of Clan Nosferatu. They also include Jonathan Bagger, the Primogen of Clan Toreador, and, well, Mr. Creel, Primogen of Clan Bruja. And as for, well, the other coterie I have not mentioned, he looked towards Victor, and he says, I will let them speak for themselves. They know themselves better than I do.
We are the Sentinels. We have me, myself, the Donovan, and Uncle Iswan take over the not take over, let's say, but like gifted by Prince, old Trundle and Wombat's domain because of our actions when Sabat packs came to the city.
You see him stifle an internal laughter ever so slightly when you say that, as the laughter appears to be masking something.
Can I roll?
Let's
just.
Sure, if you want to.
He will be interested, so he will try to understand as well.
What's the roll for?
You would probably want to roll 4 dice for my manipulation subterfuge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay, you just failed, so everyone else just accept. For Victor picks up. Oh yeah, no, he's just kind of slightly awkward about it.
Yeah.
Now
The laughter, all it's doing is hiding, and badly. He's like a hyena right now. He's hiding terror. He's seen some shit. That's basically what you can gather from it. He's seen some shit.
Yeah. He's seen things. Unfortunately, Victor, he's trying to be polite and covered up, but yeah, he knows something about when the Sabat showed up recently and what your coach got up to, and he must be a hard bastard because he doesn't seem impressed at all. He's trying to be polite about it, but he's completely covering up. He's completely not impressed at all. He's trying to save your feelings. He's trying to be polite about it, but you can see he's...
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly it.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, oh yeah, those guys, man, I've seen Sabat. It's about 10 foot tall, like fireballs from rise and lightning bolts from Mars. That's Sabat, not what you to do it.
Well, we will see how long this deal goes along. Well,
To better benefit the city and to prove my worth a little, I will make an offer to the 3 of you that I will, of course, make an offer to those who hold position in the court that I have not made yet. I can teach you a little bit about the spot. Enough that might keep you alive in the future. For a price, though not as severe as one might think. if you're interested. He notices everybody goes quiet when he says this.
Yeah, they do. An interesting offer, but it is too fresh in my mind that a man I once called friend, but now I would call fool and traitor, start delving into information he shouldn't have. So, although you have a gracious offer, which I appreciate, I am somewhat hesitant currently.
Oh, completely understandable. They're a terrifying bunch. It should never be trusted. The only thing they can be trusted with is a duel done properly. And with that, actually, Kevin, can I get you to
Yep.
roll me my roll 5 dice for my charisma performance? As I'm trying to sell you guys on this.
2 successes.
What I heard while I was a ghoul, the Sabbat is, well, not really different than Al-Qaeda in Asia.
You're horribly mistaken. And he puts on that 1,000-yard stare.
Like, he will stare at you back.
I'm not looking at you, it's just that 1,000-yard stare.
Oh. What I heard from my sire, at least. He has prestigious sire, by the way. Yeah.
Okay.
They think that they are doing a holy war. Like, it's not like holy war, but they have war that they have in their minds that they think that they're right. And it's actually what kind of makes them dangerous. You know, thinking that you're right makes you think that you can do whatever you want.
There's a nugget of truth to that, Mr. Creed. However, as this is knowledge that will cost almost anyone to tell more than just the briefest bit, I will just say this. There are very few who live longer than a fortnight who are in the Sabbat who don't believe. You must excuse me, however, as I have an appointment to keep. But allow me to give you my business card. And he'll take out 3 business cards from a fold on the inside of his jogging suit. We'll hand one to Rafat, one to Mr. Creed, and one to Mr. Donovan. You'll notice it simply has his name on it, and it has an email address on the back and a phone number. I cannot always be reached there, but I check this once a day.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And Donovan will graciously accept it and put it in this bucket.
We'll have to meet again soon.
Yes,
Smiling.
very much so. I have many more questions, and I believe plenty of information to be traded at a later time. And he just has this sick grin on his face. And he's not looking at anyone, he's got this sick grin. With that, he takes the key out from his pocket, and will go out to the box and take his stuff and go.
Yep.
out of character, do I know that he's was an old Sabbath?
When Rafak came in, he said that he had just joined the sect, and didn't exactly call him a fledgling. And he's not acting like a fledgling. He's acting like he knows stuff, but yeah, I think, to be fair, you've got more than enough to have it. Not be absolutely certain, but be quite certain. Maybe he was an anarch who was in a city where there was a lot of, it could be an anarch in a Sabbat city or something like that. But yeah, you've got enough to have a fair guess.
Victor Creed will turn to Rafat and say, like, is he an old anarch?
I think it's fair to just check with the player. I think it's fair to say the Keeper of Police would probably know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have Sabbat survival.
You know that the Keeper of Elysium, if the Prince would pass it down, would have said he was a defector.
He has, from what I understand, he has defected from what other sect originally. I am not absolutely certain, but I would have suspicions.
Well, he knows a lot about that, that's for sure.
True.
Do we know when this peace will end? Do we have any? Have you heard anything from them?
I believe that was just while they were leaving, a temporary localized thing, which I do believe we could have repelled them if we hadn't come to a court like that, but the court would have taken casualties. We could have pressed on. As I said, I do believe we would have taken casualties. So having them go out and spread that hurt is not so vulnerable, an area not so easily attacked and claimed, has its advantages. But they are free to return at some future point.
Well, I heard from your conversation with the Ventrue fellow that just leave that some anarchs tried to call Sabbat.
Yes, that was when we were taking the city from the anarchs. They called in Sabbat allies. Yes.
And then when anarchs gone, I also heard in Trench that some of the anarchs stayed in the city and tried to, done something they called Reese. One of the Buha had lived something through, tried to learn paths, blah blah blah. So they are still trying to have a lot of influence in the city.
They're probing us. It's not terribly surprising necessarily. As I said, the city hasn't been conquered even a full year yet. They're going to probe our defenses, whether by sending in agents like that one which tried to corrupt Bruja, or by sending in physical forces as they did there. All they have to do is find the weak link and press on it enough. But we've held firm so far. In a few years, no doubt, unless they meet with considerable success, they'll probably back off.
I certainly hope so.
I was wondering. Well, we might guess where they would strike, but how about we make something that they would think that they could strike at, like a honeypot?
Not a bad idea.
Of course, there's the how to go about it in practice is a different thing entirely.
What happened to prisoners that they took the first fight? I think that there was 2 prisoners. One of them was.
There was 2 prisoners. One of them I killed with my own hands. The other one was as part of their terms, they're allowed to remove their fallen. They had taken a lot of casualties. Even if they had brought back all that they had taken, they still wouldn't have the full numbers. It would take time for them to come
Shovel
forward
it.
with a new attack. Even then, as you saw there, clearly some of them are very experienced. The shovelheads are weak. They are obviously a threat. They are still kindred, and they lack information. They're poor warriors, but they're warriors nevertheless.
Yes. The what happened to all the shovelheads that they are leaved too, or
Most of them are dead. They took the brunt of the casualties, although I believe that the individual who was leading their group met final death. Apparently something of significance.
I remember the Sir Priscus.
Yes.
He was the one I think that he is the one who has been leading them, and he's dead. And who took over the casualties? Like, it's actually strange. I wasn't going to. Like, if I was there, I wouldn't expect someone.
No. Well, it seems one of them had more sense than the others. They knew that it was a slim chance they were going to take the city, and probably going to take not inconsiderable casualties. But one of the last groups of them coming in, one of their last gangs coming in, when they saw damage had been done, asked for parley, and it was their leader of this group, the Ductus. The name eludes me right now. I have it written down in some notes. I can retrieve that for you if you really need. But their Ductus negotiated with the prince. But the Priscus met final death, as I said, as did several of the other prominent members, including the leader, the Ductus of that pack we fought against. I made sure he wasn't going to get away. I have not been shy about the fact I know he was a traitor from Clan Tremere. We do not deal kindly with those who turned their backs upon the clan and the Camarilla. I made sure, even if we fell, that he would not be able to avoid his fate.
It is a smart thing to do that, not leaving enemies at your back. I certainly understand. Some might think that it's cruel, but we live in a cruel world.
Well, I for one are happy that there is such a loyal kindred of the Camarilla, such as you, Rafat, in this city that will take care of such wild creatures as the Sabat. Simply sickening, just knowing that they're nearby.
Well, as I pointed out to our new friend, he gestures towards the door where Marcus left not too long ago. I know yourself and your Primogen Halliwell aren't always necessarily fighting on the front lines, but you always laid logistical support and use your skills to best effect. An army marches on their stomach, and although we don't need to eat, all aid is useful once used appropriately.
Quite so. I simply wish I could do more for the city right now.
Garner your own control, set up your own power base, you're part of the court. Thankfully, the numbers in the city of the princess seem fit to keep them to a reasonable number. The amount of disputes isn't too high, so everyone can spread out. Obviously, as the years and decades roll on, those of us who are more established will have a better control of theirs, and then we'll be contesting with newer arrivals. Such is the way.
Sorry, just asking too many questions. But do you know where does this Giovanni live? That came to see?
I have some contact details, actually. I could give them to yourself.
It will be handy to have his contact.
Of course. In fact, we'll check some notes he has on him. Then he'll take out the name, the details, and just write them down. Just hand them over. Agreed.
Thank you, Rafat.
You're quite welcome. Oh. Gentlemen, I think we should close up for the night. I've got a bit of research to do. He looks once more towards the door.
I thank you for being such a gracious host as always, Mr. Dita.
Of course. And with that, I think we can end the scene.